chief agent of state patronage is the Arts Council of Great Britain. The Council's Fine Arts Department has a growing collection of modern painting and sculpture, but its main purpose is not so much to employ the artist directly as to enlarge the artist's public. From their headquarters in London and their regional offices, hundreds of exhibitions have been sent throughout Britain. By this means, the Council have aimed to encourage the widest enjoyment of the arts in small towns and in the great provincial cities. Many of the splendid exhibitions which the Arts Council has arranged in London have brought work to us which would otherwise be little known or difficult to see. The outstanding show of Mexican art at the Tate Gallery was an example of this most valuable service. In the pattern room of another public body, the British Council, we can see how this process of international exchange can also work the other way. Their Fine Art Department has arranged shows of British art abroad and helped many of our artists to gain recognition overseas, sometimes through the great international exhibitions held in Venice and Paris and elsewhere. These public organizations and museums like the Tate Gallery work for the artist's public. But who does employ the artist more directly? One hotel, at least. A hotel in Scarborough has a fine collection of paintings made by its owner, Mr. Tom Lawson. Mr. Lawson believes that pictures, both of the past and the present, are an essential part of the service a hotel should offer. They give an interesting and elegant setting for the visitors. And I was particularly interested in his modern pictures. Do you find that your visitors enjoy those pictures, or do they find them rather difficult?
I think most of the young people like them. Some people are puzzled by them, and some actively dislike them. Everyone is stimulated by them. I find the contemporary pictures much the most interesting. They're a challenge to one's judgment, and it's very rewarding seeing people gradually come to accept them and like them.
This is a private, personal collection made public. But on a great liner like the Orange Bay, it's a matter of a business corporation employing artists such as Edward Gordon and Douglas Annan, who were commissioned to create an attractive and entertaining background for the life of the ship. In fact, ocean liners, airports, lots of offices may employ the artist at palaces and great houses big in the summer. In the new Time Life offices in Bond Street, painters and sculptors and designers under the direction of Clifford Ellis worked with the architects from the beginning. And architects today are more willing than they were before the war to see the wide surfaces of their rooms enriched with painted or sculptured decoration. Such conditions demand a generation of artists as versatile as the men of the Renaissance. Every detail in this building, the handles on the doors, the lamps, the carpets and curtains, the furniture in the offices and conference rooms, the sculptures by Henry Moore on the terrace and on the facade, all these combine in a remarkable unity of style. also made this family group in bronze for a school in Hertfordshire. That county has commissioned many artists to decorate their fine new schools, and education authorities in many parts of Britain now realize that the painter and the sculptor can not only brighten school buildings, but bring new interests and excitement for the children. The school employs the artist in this way. It also employs him as a teacher at a time when painting and modeling and the crafts have become as much a part of a child's education as reading or writing. The artist as a teacher, is that something to be welcomed, or is teaching to be despised as a second-best employment? One of those who has a firm belief in the vocation of teaching is Clifford Ellis, who worked on this mural in one of the Hertfordshire schools. Mr. Ellis is the principal of the Bath Academy, whose centre is Corsham Court, a famous house and a wonderful setting for a school of art. When I visited Corsham and talked with him about this question, he explained to me how the students, in the course of their training, work with children from schools in the district. And I suggested that we did need to think again about the artist's place as a teacher in view of the difficult realities of the present time.
It seems to me that these realities of the outside world are so uncertain that it's our job here to provide such a training that the student is, as it were, centrally placed. He has a core of skills, of what I call academic disciplines, of culture, and with that core as his equipment, he is then able to face this outside world. And when one looks at the reality of it, it's clearly no fault of ours that the greatest opportunities are in art teaching. Now, I would really like to say something about that, because unluckily there's a kind of prejudice against teaching, which I think is a recent one. People tend to compare an ideal as an artist, say Michelangelo, and compare him with some workaday teacher, whereas the proper, fair thing to do would be to compare that kind of artist with a great teacher. And if one is thinking of teaching as an ideal, which is what we try to do here, then that core must have in it all the things which will enable that kind of ideal to be realized.
Here then the student learns those skills and disciplines to which Clifford Ellis referred, techniques which will serve him in his own studio or in the classroom. The student has the guidance of distinguished artists who are themselves teachers. The painter William Scott, the sculptor Kenneth Armitage among them. The artist in his studio, we need him as much as ever before in a world dominated by the constructions of science and of industry. We've seen how he can humanize and enrich our surroundings. Like the contemporary architect, he can give form and spirit to a civilization of the machine. Can we employ him also to express the traditions of the past and the ideas and beliefs of our period. These sculptures were entries in a competition for a monument to the unknown political prisoner. The theme is a part of our life today. It was a challenge to the artists who took part, and their work was often a challenge to our sympathy and appreciation. And indeed, the problem of patronage is largely the problem of understanding the shape of our time. Those who face that challenge can often earn a marvelous response. This Madonna and Child by Jacob Epstein was commissioned by a London convent, by the church which was formerly the artist's most constant patron. And here at St. Matthew's, Northampton, this crucifixion by the painter Graham Sutherland shows how a modern artist will respond to the symbols of an ancient faith. The Crucifixion and a Madonna and Child carved by Henry Moore, which stands in the opposite transept, are the fruits of bold and sympathetic patronage. Here, then, are some of the problems and opportunities facing the artist today, and they exist not only for him, but for the whole community in which he lives. The fact that the painter Ivan Hitchens is engaged on this huge mural is a sign that a patron has had the vision to command a major work, and that the artist has had the courage to respond.